And start. So we should now be live for sure. Because it didn't look like anything was changing earlier.
We were just vibing in the void.
Just vibing in the void.
Vibing in the void.
So we should now. Okay, wonderful. My voice is coming through. It's just not showing up on the mics, which is always a fun time.
Oh, I also realized last time where I would like start saying like he said Celix did such and such, and then you would start a second after me. It's because like I'm slightly slower than you, so for me it's like, oh, they haven't said the thing yet. But like in the actual stream, you had said the thing.
It's also just a matter of lag through Discord. Like it's one of those
Yeah.
things that is going to be an issue for as long as we do this.
Discord is out to be a bitch.
It's true. It's after us personally. I'm about to throw
hmm
hands.
That's why like I jokingly call it Piss Corp on occasion.
Shows how active it is.
Yeah.
Alrighty. Let's get all the ducks in the right order.
Quack quack.
Quack quack. I'm Jay. I live here at Nerdhilistic, and this is Satan as well.
Satan.
Who is helping
Hello.
make this magic happen. My browser is not going to be as pretty today, I guess, for reasons that baffle me. Oh, hang on. Wrong mode. There we are. Now it's all gray. Embrace the gray.
That's very, very cart cat flavored of you.
Thank you. I try. This is part 2 of the Great Empire of HIC. And if you missed the first part, it's on the channel in the live tab. You can find it. Today I'll be doing the parts of Karkat, Jacobs, Nepeta, and Vriska.
And I will be doing Celix, Equius, Commanding Officer, Angry Imperial Soldier, Tavros, and Nyx.
Woo! Okay, we'll be taking a break about 45 minutes in, and then we'll finish this up. So, shall I go ahead and start us off?
Go ahead.
Woo! Your 14th wriggling day is not your best. You nearly get your leg blown off for one. You drag 2 Imperial officers to safety and save a third's life, which led to the nearly losing your leg thing. You'd been trying to save some intelligence op gone wrong. You evac'd the spies and went back for the information. When you were there, you got caught, but when you showed the officers the heinous information that was being covered up, they started coming around to your side. It could have been bloodless until a nearby drone caught you and wrote the officers off as traitors despite their insistence that they were innocent. The drone didn't care. They're just numbers. You worked with them and managed to destroy the drone, but the explosion really badly hurt you. But it hurt the last officer much more. You all got the hell out of Dodge, with you stealing the intel and dragging the wounded officer to his comrades. You got the 3 of them to lay low for a day or 2 while Terezi checked their records, and, as luck would have it, the drone hadn't managed to report their crime in time. They were in the clear. You'd told them that the choice was theirs, but if they wanted to find you, it wouldn't be hard. With that over, you'd limped back to your extraction point and eventually got back to your ship. It's looking a little like you might lose the leg at this point, but you have to wait and see. A younger you might have found the whole pirate with a prosthetic leg thing funny, but you don't find much funny anymore. You especially don't find fate funny either. You get a call from one of the officers that you saved, and you expect that they might be turning sides, but it's not that.
We do owe you, and I think this might do as payment. One of yours to make up for saving at least one of us. We still owe you more, but it's a step closer to even.
The commanding officer says over the secured line. A rebel? You ask in surprise.
Yeah, with our station destroyed, we got shipped out to here. He was caught and, well, the opportunity seemed appropriate. A breakout would be more than believable.
He says. You give him exchange details of where and when. You give him exchange details of where and when to. You have him
Would you like
exchange
me to pop
details.
in?
Please take over first. Sorry, that was rough. What are
You're good.
words?
You have him exchange details of where and when to your navigation officer, and Nepeta forwards the intel onto Teresi just to be sure it's not a trap. You doubt that it is, but she seems very pleased at the idea and sends you on that way. She says that she was going to send you there anyway because she'd heard through other sources that she doesn't disclose. Whatever. You try to sleep your injury off, and when the time comes, you don't have the ego to insist that you go on the mission yourself. You're a liability right now. So, needless to say, you're surprised when the rebel prisoner that your people walk back through your doors is Sullix. You don't even see him right away. Nepeta rushes to tell you. You'd been midway through a call with the commanding officer to set up the damage to make it look like they fought you off. One of your junior officers is trying to put Sullix in the brig.
Jacobs, what are you doing?
You demand as you march. Okay, limp towards her.
Sorry, Captain, but I've heard the other men talking. He's a deserter, isn't he?
She says, pointing her weapon at him.
He is not. Sol, come here. Let me get you out. Oh, sorry, that was Nepeta. I messed up my formatting. Oh, no. He is not. Sol, come here. Let me get you out of those.
Nepeta says, elbowing Jacobs aside and undoing Sullix's cuffs and helping him with the shit that turns his psionics off.
He abandoned ship, didn't he? Hacked something to steer the ship away?
Jacobs points out.
That's not... He outranks you, officer! Now get out!
You snarl, your voice building in volume. What? Where the fuck did I go? Oh no.
You're close.
Okay, got it. Sorry.
You're good. I am sorry, Captain.
Jacobs squeaks and runs off. You instantly feel bad.
We never replaced your position.
Nepeta explains quietly. You swallow thickly and look over at Nepeta and Sullix. She looks back at you and then to him.
I'll leave you two alone. It was good to see you again.
Nepeta says quietly and finds somewhere else to be.
You,
Fuck, your mouth is dry. Try again.
You don't have to stay in the brig. Your block is just like you left it.
Where exactly are we? They move me so I don't know. Sullix says stiffly. You flounder, not sure how much detail he wants. Where's the nearest friendly station? He asks.
That'd be Sigma Central, or if you want very lawless, then Sinuri Base isn't that much further.
You tell him. Sigma, Sullix says, turns, and walks off towards his old block.
Oh, okay.
You tell the empty hallway. That's more than he's spoken to you in any previous sweep since you fucked up everything forever. Mind swapping out?
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah. There are meals held on the ship between there and Sigma Central. Solix gets his and leaves to eat elsewhere. You try to pretend it doesn't hurt, and it's harder for the fact that the entire crew, except for Nepeta, is all paying very close attention and pretending very poorly that they're not. You get to Sigma Central and Solix just walks right off your ship without a backwards glance, right out of your life again. You know you'll never track him, even if you tried. No doubt he'll hack anything that could give his trail away. Not that you'd try anyway. He clearly doesn't want you knowing where he is. You're just glad that you saved his life. If the Empire got their hands on him for real, you don't know how you could have lived with yourself. You should go after him, Nepeta insists as you watch Solix leave through the monitors. Nep, it's complicated. You don't know, you sigh. I do know what happened, actually, Nepeta interrupts you. Wait, what? He told you? You ask as horror creeps up the back of your neck, with dread following right after. No, I heard it from someone else he did tell it to, Nepeta says and looks at you challengingly. Oh, God, that's... So lots of people know how terrible I am. That's great, you whine in distress. You're not terrible, you're stupid. Very stupid. And also a huge jerk, but I know you're not a bad person. You could be better, though. Like, maybe you could talk to him, Nepeta says loudly. More crew are totally not listening in. I'm not talking about this, and for unrelated reasons, I'm leaving, you say, and limp out of the room. You need to do something about that leg, Nepeta shouts after you. You hobble faster.
Want me to swap in?
Yeah.
Unfortunately, there's not many places you can avoid your determined and stealthy friend on one spaceship, and she determines that your leg, as it is, has passed the point of healing, and you're going to need bits removed and cybernetically replaced. Luckily, she knows just the guy to do it. Terezi is also very insistent that you get fixed up and demands that you turn around back the way you came, past where you dropped Sullix off, and to the planet that Equius calls home. You've never actually been in person to Sarix 4, being that the only person there you know is Equius, and whenever you're close, he's busy with Nepeta. You tend to just see Equius when he's involved with rebel activity off of his planet. Also, Sarix 4, despite being a perfectly positioned planet and right in the middle of a communication hub of multiple stations and satellites, is a shithole planet where it's almost always permanently nighttime and is also globe-chillingly cold. Sure, it's fine if you happen to be cold-blooded, a cold-blooded so-and-so, but you are not. Even when Nepeta visits the place, she complains of being cold. You take a shuttle down there, determined not to wear one of your old sweaters that Nepeta forced you to take with you. You are Karkat Vantis, rebel and famous pirate captain. You have not worn dorky turtleneck sweaters since you became a pirate, and you will not start again now. You last 20 near frozen minutes before you cave and put the damn thing on. For some reason, Equius has seen fit to not meet you, so you have to get public transport to his place. But thankfully, Nepeta left you instructions for that. She thinks of everything. You try not to look obviously like a pirate, but you think the sweater helps there. No, you are not a pirate. You are just a cold sweater-wearing man with fantastic taste in long coats and knee-high boots. Yup. The fingerprint plate on Equius's door opens for you, and as you step inside, you hear the sound of your name echoing around the hive, spoken by the automatic system. You have some manners, so you wait, and soon enough, a startled Equius walks into the room. Karkat, what are you doing here? He asks in surprise.
Did you think I was getting in tomorrow or something?
You ask, limping over to him. No, I didn't know you were coming at all. What happened to your leg? Equius asks, walking over to you and steadying you.
What? Nepeta didn't tell you?
You ask in surprise. She didn't tell me anything. Karkat, you really cannot be here, Equius says in a hushed voice.
Why? Is something wrong? Is there Empire activity I don't know about or something? I just came because I'm worried I'm going to lose my leg, and Nep said you could help, but I don't know why she didn't tell you.
You say, feeling totally lost. I will call her. Privately. One moment, Captain. Equius nods and dials his palm husk and holds it delicately to his ear. You stand with your weight going through your good leg only and rub just above the injured part where it's starting to cramp from the cold. Nepeta, it's me. Why did you send? Equius stops and pauses to listen. Yes, I understand that part, but I haven't seen it myself yet. But it's not about that. I'm sure you didn't know that he's... Equius pauses again and frowns. Nepeta, we talked about this. No, you can't. Well, yes, I see very well that practically you can do this, but you should not. He'll only leave, Equius says. That would require an imperial mandate that. Oh, that's a gross misuse of legal power to. A search! Nepeta, we could be caught. That's. Well, they can't possibly all work for. No, I forbid this. Equius stamps his foot on the floor, and you watch as the tiles splinters. No. 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 Equius says, pausing between each, and you just know that somewhere Nepeta is countering each no with a yes. Gag. Nepeta, I demand you undo all of this right now. Nepeta? Equius pulls the palm husk away from his face and looks at it. She hung up on me, Equius says softly.
Shall I take over narrator?
Please.
Yeah. Ooh, she's in trouble. Is there a problem? That sounded like a problem, you say.
The network isn't working. I can't call her back. But there's no way our network can be down unless she... Oh no. Stay here. I have to.
Equius says in a hurry, turning away from you towards the staircase. It means that you're already looking at the staircase when someone else comes down them. Solix. It's not because of the cold that your backbone suddenly feels like it's been drenched in ice, leaving you frozen in place. You stand there open-mouthed, and he looks at you in shock.
Before this devolves messily, I did not know this was going to happen. Carcat did not know you were here either.
Equius says loudly into the stunned silence. Oh, fuck. I didn't know. Nepeta must have... Shit, sorry. I'll just leave. Who needs two legs anyways? I'll just go, you blurt out, stumbling backwards towards the door.
Wait, Carcat, you can't just leave.
Equius calls out, and you stop.
The hell he can't.
Solix shouts, Yeah, I'll go. You agree. Sorry, that was loud.
No, you can't. Nepeta and Teresi are pulling some kind of stupid and ill-advised stunt that I was just trying to talk her out of, but she hung up on me. She must have cut the network somehow.
Equius tells you both.
That explains why everything is broken. It doesn't explain why he can't fuck off.
Solix snarls.
Because pirate activity has caused all of the ports to shut down, and now there are Empire forces sweeping the planet for pirates and rebels. People working for Teresi have orders to keep this place and this place alone off of their searches. Apparently, if either of you leave and are caught, you'll be taken away, rescued, and put right back here. That's what Nepeta told me, and if she has Teresi's backing, I believe her.
Equius explains. You are going to have words with your friends when you see them next. Very loud words. Very obscene and threatening words.
Fuck that. I'll take my chances out there. Call me when he's gone.
Solix snaps and drags a thick coat out of his Siledex. You can't help the sting. He'd rather take his chances with Empire forces than even be in the same building as you.
Solix, be reasonable. I just have to fix his leg. If you wait it out, they will have to let him leave. He's the leader of the resistance. They need him.
Equius says reasonably, his strong hand against the door to stop Solix opening it. I'm the what? You blurt out, and Equius looks at you like you're an idiot.
Fucking Teresi. Fucking Nepeta.
Solix hisses furiously. It's probably a show of how serious this situation is that Equius doesn't react to someone bad-mouthing his moirail. Solix rips his coat off and flies upstairs in an arc of violent red and blue light. Equius sighs and takes his hand from the door. He looks you up and down.
I think you had better let me see that leg,
he says. Equius takes you down the stairs into his basement lab, which is sterile and fantastically high-tech all at the same time. He has you strip off all your clothes below the waist, and your coat too, which you don't appreciate in this cold. It's warmer in here than outside, but it's still damned cold. Equius asks you the story of what happened to your leg as he examines it, takes scans and samples to run tests on. You give him the short version and explain what you've been doing with your leg to try to look after it. Equius pulls a face as he looks through the scans on his tablet.
You cared for it fine, but you were never going to save the muscle here. The force of the injury made cell death a certainty.
Equius says, and shows you a muscular scan that means nothing to you. So are we talking losing the leg and getting a new one, or are we talking remove the bad parts and cybernetically replacing those bits? You ask, dreading the answer.
Ah, if this had happened sweeps ago, then you would have lost the leg for sure. Thankfully, my skills have improved since then. I believe that I can fix you without removing your entire leg.
Equius smiles, even if it is a little strained.
I will need to bandage this up and make the parts that I'll put in there, but I can probably do the surgery the day after tomorrow.
Equius says as he leans to the side to reach for a bandage. He pauses, though you don't know why, and then looks at you. He takes the bandage without looking and starts to clean your wound more than you already had. He's obviously thinking hard about something. He looks up. You think at you, but his sunglasses are so dark, you just can't tell.
I know about what happened with you and Celix.
Equius says plainly. So Solix told him. You can't help but wonder if there's a reason why Solix is here. Are the two of them flush? Are they just friends? Or are they friends and more, like they were when you were younger? You hate how much that idea hurts. You have no right to that pain, but there it is anyways. Oh, you say, because you have to say something.
Oh my goodness, sorry, 1 second.
You're good.
I've known you a long time, Carcat. I like to think I know the kind of man you are, and Nepeta, well, her thoughts are pretty clear. So I'm sure it's more complex than I've been told, but...
Equius says slowly as he bandages your leg. You wish you weren't having this conversation half naked. Frankly, you wish you weren't having it at all. I don't know what Solix told you, but I'm not going to sit here and act like I'm not the worst bastard in the universe because I basically am. If you're hoping for some defense that makes me magically not total shit, then I don't have one to give you because I'm fucked up and I fucked up. I don't get a defense, you tell him firmly.
But...
Equius pauses and sighs. He tightens up the bandage and gets up.
Regardless of what you think to yourself, it's pretty obvious to me that some kind of an explanation might make him feel better.
Equius tells you firmly and hands you your clothes. What can I possibly say to explain myself? I'm not looking for him to forgive me. I don't deserve forgiveness, you protest, but take your clothes anyways because you are half naked and it's freezing in here.
You can explain without asking him to forgive you, but it isn't my business, which other people I know would do well to remember.
Equius adds that last part through gritted teeth. You're glad you're not Nepeta, that's for sure.
Look after your leg. My hive is yours for your stay. The nutrition block is on the ground level floor. Help yourself. I have a guest room on the floor above at the end by the window, and if you're looking to avoid Celix, he normally contains himself to what was once my attic.
Equius adds that last part in a tone that suggests that he's not totally pleased with Solix up there. You guess your question must show on your face because Equius answers.
He showed up here after I settled down here. He just wanted to stay for a bit, and he was in a bad way. Besides, he offered to help me with technical... Oh my god, can you stop jumping? Stop it. Sorry. My app keeps like, oh, you want to be 5 sentences down?
Oh,
Fucking
no.
got it.
Oh, I'll make a doc that's just the chapter next time. Maybe I'll even do that during our break. I just realized how much it is to load. It's a big story. Sorry.
It's okay. Worst comes to worst, if I get really lost, I can just scroll to the right or like go to the right chapter and then scroll down.
Right.
He just keeps moving a little bit, but it keeps like, God, where am I?
Right.
All right. He, thank you.
Besides, he offered to help me with technical matters around getting my hive set up, so he stayed for that. He left for a while, but it wasn't convenient for him to take his things with him, so he left them and he would come and go on missions, same as me, but his things kept building up and now he just lives here.
Equius frowns and looks up at the ceiling.
I think, anyway.
He adds, "You think he lives here? Either he lives here or he doesn't," you point out, as you rather ungracefully get into your clothes.
Well, he doesn't always. Sometimes he goes away for long stretches of time, but then he comes back. Besides, he is helpful and we are friends, and it seems rude to ask him now if he's living with me. Besides, he's a perfectly polite guest. Hive mate? He pays for his share of the bills and helps me with things when I ask.
Equius says awkwardly. Want to do narrator for a bit, or
Yeah, I can.
I can also keep going. Is
Just wanted to take a drink of my beverage.
beverage good? Everybody stay hydrated. We are.
That's great.
Mhm.
You want to say that that's the dumbest thing that you've ever heard. You want to say that Equius, not just asking Sullix if he's going to be living there permanently, or if he's just keeping his shit in Equius's attic, is absurd. Yet you're the one unable to hold a full conversation with your former best friend because you screwed up everything you said to him so badly that he won't talk to you anymore. From the look on Equius's face, you're certain that if you try to make any comment on his living situation, that he'll tell you just that.
Very well. Carry on.
You say instead and pull your coat back on.
You don't need to wear your coat indoors, Carcat.
Equius tells you.
It's cold. Still, I'll get out of your hair and go upstairs. Sounds like you have a lot of work to do if I want a working leg again. By the way, I appreciate this a lot.
You tell him, and at that Equius does smile.
You should get some rest, and Nepeta would want me to say, probably also talk to Sullix,
He adds.
Thanks.
You say, instead of, like, hell I will, it's just more polite. It is exactly zero fun getting upstairs with a dodgy leg, and it takes you a while. Equius's guest room is perfectly pleasant in that bland way that guest rooms are. There's a bookshelf filled with books that are of no interest to you, being that they're either technical manuals or old romance books that you're sure are Nepeta's. The furniture is nice enough, but it all feels like stuff that used to be somewhere else until that room got an upgrade, so it got shuffled into this spare room. It's charmingly domestic, and you're actually weirdly enthused about a hive that feels like a proper home, and you're happy that your friend has this for himself. Himself and possibly Sullix too, who he may or may not be dating or sleeping with. You try to shake that thought from your head and go about pouring soaper powder into the cone and kicking the button at the base to get it filling with water to the right level. At that point, you kick the button again and it starts agitating the water so it'll start to form soaper. That'll take a few hours at least, so you figure that you'll dump some of your stuff into the attached ablution block and then sit down and wait in that nice, if slightly older looking armchair over there. You open up your tablet and find that indeed not only is there no Wi-Fi, but there's also no external signal, and it seems like every satellite is down. You're both very angry that your friends did this to you, but also kind of impressed that they managed an incredibly well-executed operation to isolate you like this, and you'll be very mad if they're not this efficient in future operations. Not that you're their boss or anything. What even was that dumb thing Equius said about you being the leader? You're not the leader. If there was a leader of the resistance, you'd know about it. You know basically everyone in the resistance, and you've never met any leader. You have basically nothing to do. The local network is still running, but that'll have no internet, and you don't have the password for it. Besides, you managing to guess the password is about as likely as you sneezing onto a tissue, and that pattern of snot being exactly the formula for the theory of everything, or some other high fancy physics thing. Anyway, just owning a technical device within 10 miles of Sullix is basically a dead certainty that he's already hacked it, and you doubt him watching you try to get into his system would go well for you. You might make your tablet blow up, and then you definitely lose your leg, and maybe other parts. So, no thanks. You'll mind your business. You spend your time reading reports that you downloaded but not yet opened, and composing replies that you can't send yet, and likely will be redundant by the time you get online again. You wonder if he is watching you, and if so, what he's thinking, and you hate that you're thinking it. You sleep, and when you wake up, you have a hot shower. Eventually, convince yourself to leave it and hobble downstairs and damn near cling to the coffee machine for warmth as it makes you a drink. Why is this hive so damn cold? You're going to find the thermostat right now. You notice it's. You notice it mostly because of the trail of post-it notes by it that are stuck to the wall. You know how long they've been there because Equius dates his. The first one is from a paragraph ago. Sullix, I have removed the earlier notes. Do not touch the thermostat. I touched it. Sullix, stop it at once. Stop making the hive cold, then leave it here and I won't touch it. Sullix, the hive is at a perfectly acceptable temperature, as is. It's my thermostat. I put it in. Sullix. Damn it.
You're doing so well.
Sullix. Sullix. I'm doing my best, Your Honor. Sullix. You're.
Oh no, we've
Giggle
caught the
break.
giggles.
It's fine, Your Honor. Sullix, you're being absurd. Stop touching it. I put it back to the proper temperature. I touched it. I licked it too. Sullix, that is obscene. Cease this at once. Nah. Sullix, yes. Nope.
Beautiful. Shall I narrate again?
Yes, please.
Yay. The notes go on like that for a while. From the slightly discolored marks on the paint, you think these notes have been going on for quite some time. You decide not to touch the thermostat. You spend a lot of time in your adopted block, and though you're on edge and listening the whole time, you don't actually hear Solix at all. But then, why would you hear him moving around? He can fly at will. You don't want to fuck around on your tablet because even though writing things down would likely help you organize your thoughts, it would also mean, most likely, broadcasting your thoughts to Solix. Bad idea. Solix does not want or need to read a whole document of you justifying your behavior or rolling your thoughts about your psychological brokenness to him. It means you have to find other ways to entertain yourself. Being a pirate and a rebel, despite people's opinions and ideas, is often very boring. It's boring, interspersed with lots of high stress and high energy stuff. The point is, there's lots of ways to pass the time that you're acquainted with. You end up doodling a bunch of playing cards, obviously not the base ones, but the more intricate face cards with their mirrored patterns. Then when you've done that for all 4 suits, you get bored and start making origami shit out of that paper. The whole pattern looks pretty messed up on the origami things you make, and you fold and refold it into a few different things. Eventually that bores you, so you put that away and go downstairs to try to find Equius. Your friend is in his lab doing something complex looking with some gross, partially biological and partially mechanical parts. Look, you're not a tech guy, okay?
Hello, Kargat.
Equius says without looking up. I guess I got a pretty distinctive walk right now, huh? you say as you look down at your leg.
Exactly. But soon you should be back to normal. I think I should be able to operate tonight, actually. You'll be awake, of course, but I'll just block the path between your lower body and your think sponge.
Equius explains. Right. I don't need to watch, do I? You ask him, and try not to grimace.
You don't. I would suggest you find a book or something to distract yourself with. Normally, I would advise streaming a movie. That's what the others do when they need maintenance. But with the internet down, that is unlikely. Of course, you could watch something that I own.
Equius offers you as he reaches for a tiny set of tweezers and does something complicated with the metal thing in the petri dish before him. You try to think of a polite way to say you'd rather watch him root around in your leg than watch his sweaty high blood movies, no doubt filled with rippling muscles and noble steeds. The facts that Equius is your dear old friend and that he's a sweaty weirdo are unfortunately both true at once. Well, actually, he's not sweating at all anymore. Perhaps he always needed to be kept at below freezing to function, and you just never knew. Something tells me that any tech I try to use here might prove mysteriously unreliable anyway. A book might be a smarter idea, you say instead. Solix was never above inconveniencing you when he was mad, and he is rightfully very mad. Taking away a chance for you to distract yourself in something like this won't actively hurt you, but it won't be good. It's a ripe opportunity. A book is safer. Even Solix can't hack paper.
Nepeta has plenty. Feel free to take your pick upstairs.
Equius offers. Right, romance books. You leave Equius be and start scouting out all of the bookshelves that you can find in areas of the hive that seem safe to go in and aren't anyone else's block. Just like in your guest room, it's either romance novels or technical manuals. You stand there and pick out a romance book at random, flipping it over to read the blurb on the back. A daring tale of pity and intrigue featuring two star-crossed mate sprits whose... Nope. Next one. When Rough-Roan encounters her former vacillating mate sprit Kismesis and a murder scene, she is faced with... Hell no! You flip through more and more of the books, but all of them are just about trolls with such intense romantic feelings that make so much fucking sense. They feel the right thing for someone, and then they go do the thing, then it's happily ever after. Just reading the backs of these books makes your hands shake and your digestion sac clench. You used to spend so much time reading this shit and trying to convince yourself that you felt this, you were like this. Really, you were. But you're not, and you hate it. You cram Nepeta's book back on the shelf and look around for something else as your throat feels thick and your eyes are stinging threateningly. In the end, you grab a book detailing the installation and maintenance of solar panels on space stations. You'd rather read that cover to cover than anything of Nepeta's.
Need me to swap in?
I think so, yeah.
Okie dokie, artichoke.
Artichoke.
Equius seems puzzled by your choice of literature, but you're not inviting any discussion on the matter. Pleasingly, you're able to keep your underwear on for the surgery, provided you roll one leg up in a really awkward way. You don't know if this is because, having checked you out for other injuries near your main one, he has determined that your clothes are not in the way, or if Equius simply doesn't want his head that close to your bare junk for several hours. You're not taking offense to that. You also don't want his head that close to your bare junk for several hours. When Equius numbs your spinal cord, the feeling is unsettling, and you have a wave of sympathy for Tavros and resolve to talk to him about this later. Although he is probably involved in setting you up down here, so you'll express your sympathy by not kicking him in the leg like he deserves for double-crossing you. After 2 hours, you know more about solar panels than you had ever cared to, and you have renewed your distaste for seeing your own blood, and you think you might be put off of eating meat for a while. Which is fine. Equius doesn't eat anyway. He leaves you on a padded surgical platform with your leg bandaged and clean, a glass of water in reach with a snuggle plane and instructions to sleep it off. You can't feel your legs just yet, but that'll come back. Equius said he'd give you painkillers when that happened, but understandably, he also wants to know that your nerves still work, so he's holding off. You do drift off eventually, cuddling your borrowed book on solar panels tight to your chest. You're not sure what it is that wakes you, but you do wake up. You wake up to see Selleck standing at your side, his eyes narrowed angrily. Fuck. You still can't really feel your legs beyond a dull throb, and you're damn sure that you can't just get up and leave. It's pretty obvious that Selleck knows this too. I hate you, he opens with.
I think that's pretty reasonable, considering everything.
You say as your voice pitches higher with distress. Shut up. Selleck hisses at you. So you do. With you silent, he's just standing there, glaring at you. Your blood pusher is racing for all the wrong reasons, and your claws are denting your book. I've been telling myself for ages that it doesn't matter why you did it. Just that you did was enough, but it's not exactly helped. Besides, you're not going anywhere, so maybe getting some answers would be a good idea. Start talking, Carcat. Selleck growls. You open your mouth, trying to find anything to say, but you're at a loss. Thankfully, Selleck decides that he has more to say. Actually, fuck that. Why should I let you decide how this goes? You're the worst. I'm asking the questions. Selleck snaps and paces about for a few moments. You knew how I felt about you, didn't you? Selleck asks. You mutely nod your head. So you... Selleck seems at a loss for a second. Did you plan it? You decided that you knew how I felt, and you were just gonna fuck me for whatever reason?
No, there was no plan.
You insist. Well, that rules out all of the theories where you were trying your whole life to make me red for you only to use it to destroy me or whatever. Selleck mutters. Does he really think that's what you were doing? Selleck leans against one of Equius's counters that earlier had been covered in surgical equipment. Were you drunk? You seemed sober to me. Selleck asks quietly.
No.
You sigh and close your eyes.
Maybe I wasn't totally sober if you ran a test or whatever, but it wasn't that making me do something I wouldn't have otherwise.
So, to recap, you knew how I felt about you. You didn't have some big plan to do this, and you were sober and in your right mind. So, what? You were just bored or wanted to celebrate and thought, hey, Felix is desperate for me. That'll be fun. I just have to tell him that I pity him too. Just so you could break my heart? Or did you not care about that last part?
Selleck demands.
No, I didn't. It wasn't just so I could pale someone. I wouldn't do that to you just for that.
You insist. Oh, because you care about me so much. Selleck snorts in disbelief. You suppose he has every right to be skeptical about that, so you have no good answer. You just hold your book tight and hate yourself a little harder. You didn't think it could be done, but you're a fucking savant on the matter of self-loathing.
All right, let's say I buy that. Let's say I believe that you went into paling me with no bad intentions at all. If that's true, then why the fuck did you change your mind afterwards and rip my blood pusher out?
Selleck asks. You stay silent. At least you do until a zap of psionics hits your arm and makes you yelp. Your leg throbs at the sudden contraction of your muscles in their startled alarm. Oh my goodness, stop doing the thing. Sorry.
You're good. Do you want trades
That
on narration, or are you feeling it still?
Oh, yes, please.
Yay.
That was a question you were supposed to answer. Why? I can't think that it was because you didn't like it because you seemed pretty happy at the time, and I had the pail to prove it. Not to mention, no one else had ever complained, so I can't think it was me.
Solix says. It wasn't you. You did nothing wrong, you assure him. Yeah, he sure as shit didn't do anything wrong. That whole time, up until you ruined your life, was amazing. It's not like that memory hasn't replayed over and over in your head at opportune moments that leave you feeling god-awful with guilt afterwards. Yeah, you didn't let Solix down because he wasn't any good.
So why then?
Solix asks again, and again you stay silent. He hisses and marches over to your bedside and reaches his hand out for your leg.
I could rip this shit out of your leg real slow. You know that? I could damage you so bad that Equius would have to take your whole leg right off. I could make it take a long time, you know.
He threatens you. You look up at the man who was your best friend. You don't think he'd do it. He's a good person, and you don't think he'd torture you, no matter how mad he is. But you're also not stupid enough to say that. Saying you won't when someone threatens something is a pretty fast track to them doing it to prove a point. But you have to say something. Solix, I'm sorry. It wasn't anything you did or said. I didn't mean to hurt you. It was stupid and selfish and awful. I knew how you felt, and I'd always told myself I'd... Sorry, too loud. I always told myself I'd never hurt you with that, but I fucked up, and I have to live with that. I absolutely deserve you leaving and hating me. It's my fault, and I'd never ask you to forgive me, but I can't tell you anything that'll make you feel better about what I did. I'm sorry, you apologize.
What do you mean you can't? You were there. You remember it. You're the one who made those choices. I just want to know why. You weren't possessed. You absolutely can tell me, and you will.
Solix shouts. Surely Equius has heard this by now. Why isn't he coming in here? Please, you need someone to save you. I'm sorry, you whisper.
Fuck, you're sorry. Answer me.
Solix snarls. You stay silent, and Solix paces in angry little circles for a bit, muttering to himself.
I already hate you. It's not like anything you say can make this worse.
He points out. Oh, this can absolutely be worse.
I must be missing something.
Solix says.
Solix mumbled.
Sorry.
Oh. You've been reading for a hot minute.
There's I was worried that the stream cut out there for a second, so I'm trying to look at the okay, we're good. Sorry, I can still do narration. Okay. It's not been that long.
Okay. Sorry about that.
No, you're good. Just I was not multitasking as well as I thought.
You're good.
Solix mumbles. Shit, he was always too smart. You're still going to hate me, so why does it matter? Nothing of it was your fault or because of anything to do with you, so there's no reason for you to have some kind of what if about it. I get that you needed to know, but I can't. You start.
There is something,
Solix says as he stares at you.
There wasn't someone else.
Solix says slowly. No, there was never anyone else, just you. You tell him quickly, too quickly. You're helping him rule things out, and you shouldn't.
I didn't think so. Which means that if it's nothing to do with me, and there's no one else, then it's something about you.
Solix concludes. Yes, you're fundamentally broken.
It is,
Solix says, his face lighting up. Excellent job, Karkat. Wonderful pirate and rebel you are. Terezi trained you to withstand interrogation, and yet here you are, giving everything away.
Something that's worse than me hating you.
Solix says, thinking aloud and watching you carefully. You keep your face blank.
If there was some problem with you physically paling, you'd either have not done it or I'd have noticed at the time, but there was nothing wrong with you. I know you didn't have some horrible disease because I've had physicals since then that check for everything, so you don't have some exotic space STD. Besides, you probably wouldn't be embarrassed about that to this degree, and you'd have told me that at some point if there was a chance it'd hurt me, I think.
Solix muses. Can we not do this? This won't help, you plead.
Fuck you. No. I doubt someone threatened you to cut things off with me because you would have known or cared that much. And if someone was blackmailing you, then you'd have said. And I mean, you're the one who came on to me. It's not like I pressured you into anything.
Solix continues, but his tone turns questioning at the end, like he's doubting himself. You didn't do anything wrong, you reiterate, and he nods, seemingly believing you. Solix goes quiet. You guess he's thinking. You hope that he's going to stop this and leave. That's what you want. He can't know. He folds his arms and stands there. He seems like he has something to say, but can't quite make himself say it. For your part, you look down at your hands and feel generally pretty shitty and guilty.
You said you pitied me.
Solix says, and you flinch to hear him say it.
If you weren't trying to hurt me, you weren't drunk, and no one made you do it, then why did you say that?
Solix asks quietly. Because you're a fucking liar. That's why you said it.
Did you pity me? At all?
Solix asks. Pity him? Like those trolls in those romance books upstairs that you've never been anything like? Like the perfectly normal and wonderful pity he felt for you of all people that you just can't replicate? You told him you felt the same as him, and that's the biggest lie ever. But it's not like you felt nothing for him. On the contrary, you feel so much for him. It's just none of it was right.
Answer me!
Solix snaps. I can't, you whisper. You can't tell him. You'd rather he hated you.
That's not an answer.
Solix says as he storms over to you. He stands there just waiting, but you can't and won't say anything.
Yes or no, it's not that hard.
He demands. You can't do this. You try to get up, but your stupid legs won't work, and as you try, your new muscle screeches at you in agony. At least you can tell Equius he hooked all of your nerves up right. As you strain to get off of the surgical platform, Solix's eyes go wide, and he shoves you back.
Are you crazy? If you try walking on that right away, you'll rip the whole thing right out of your leg,
he says in alarm. Weren't you threatening to do that for me? You point out, and Solix winces and looks away. He was never going to do it. You called it.
But you'd really rather risk that than tell me if you pitied me or not,
he says, correctly. You stay silent on that matter. Your stance should be clear enough there.
Fine.
Solix hisses and lets you go. He's not telling you that you can get up. Instead, he's leaving in a trail of angry sparks. You flop back onto the platform properly and rub at your watering eyes. You cling tightly to your book, like the diagrams of solar panels can be of any comfort to you. Equius eventually checks in on you, dispenses pain medication, and carries you to the guest block, and gives you a stick to walk with for the times when you absolutely have to get up, but you shouldn't be walking all that much. Pain medication or not, you still feel that it hurts when you try, so you're pretty easily dissuaded from attempting it too much. You should be bored, but who can feel boredom when you have the world's most thrilling solar panel manual to read, interspersed with being curled up on a lounge plank in your room quietly crying, or marinating in your own guilt? It's a fun and exciting time to be you. Also, next time you see Terezi and Nepeta, you're absolutely going to punch them both for doing this to you. The real downside of being here is that your temporary block happens to be in the same hive as Solix's block.
I've been thinking about it.
Solix announces as he walks into your room. You can't do anything to stop him, not in this state. You grab a cushion off of the lounge plank that you're on and press it into your face. Maybe it'll smother you to death, or perhaps you can just scream yourself hoarse into it. Well, it turns out you can do neither, because Solix takes it and throws it away.
You're acting like you used to about your blood color. Before we all knew about it, I mean. I've seen steam on what?
That was an error, sorry, ignore me.
Oh, okay. I was like, what? Did I do something?
No, I finally figured out why I thought the stream stopped earlier. You're good.
Oh, why? What happened?
Our alarm for a break went off, but I didn't recognize that was the thing.
Do we want to take a break now? Or wait until after this conversation?
This conversation is a larger one, so I think that we're going to take a pause, and we'll restart here at I've Been Thinking About It.
Got it.
So let's get the little pause stream friend up. Yay! Okay, we'll be back in about 15 minutes. We need to water and dewater ourselves.
Water and dewater. That's the technical term.
It's the technical term.
So, I know math. 45-ish. Yep, those are times.
Those are times. I'm gonna grab the rest of the chapter, well, the rest of the part that we made, and put it into a new doc and link you that, so hopefully the skipping is less annoying.
Isn't that bad?
Yeah.
Thank you, I appreciate it.
Absolutely.
Be back in a bit.
Back in a bit. Hope everyone's having a lovely time. I may or may not sing all the way through this as I try to find where my own docs live. Wonderful. We've agreed to have dark gray backgrounds because we are both big believers in night mode for everything, and the closest you can get in Google Docs to like a properly dark backdrop is to go pageless and all one color. It unfortunately doesn't change like anything about like the tools. Or anything, so you have like a bright bar at the top, still being annoying, but it's still much nicer for both of us. And on stream, I have a little gray bar at the top of nothingness, so that you guys don't have the same contrast issue that I personally dislike. Wonderful. The link is all set up, and none of that should impact us upon the return, which is always nice. Wonderful. I shall also be right back. Hello, I have returned. I still have not thought of a thing to say during a break like this. So, there might be, because I don't want people to feel like they're missing out on things. I don't want to create a homestuck intermission situation where if you skip over the intermissions, you're in for a lot of confusion later on down the line. And after we finish up with the Great Empire of HIC, we will move on to like shorter fics that could maybe be snuck into a 15-minute break. But those are on their own little plan, their own lovely little docs. And so it doesn't make a whole lot of sense to jump ahead or skip around like that. And it would be a weird story swap right in the middle here. Music is also distracting for us as readers when it's underneath us as we talk. But I will look into maybe having some music during a break time. It would probably help with the feeling of like, oh, things will be right back. There's signs of life here even when people aren't talking. The one thing I had time for related to this fic was I made a little playlist of songs that I felt like sort of described Karkat's journey in this story. And I was trying to do this in such a way where not a lot of the fics are explicit about romance in a traditional way. So I'm wondering, I just made it so I should be able to say, like, I don't know, titles of songs that I felt could work. I have 3 songs in this playlist that are related to, revolution and rebellion and fighting. And then the other songs of the 22 total, all the rest of them are about the romance thing. Sorry, Carcat, it's just your life. I'm looking at where we're up to in the song at this point. Okay. I think I know the song that we are approaching. Yes, okay, so can't go farther than that. Now I'm just going to list song titles because I can. Who's going to stop me? Fandom police. So, the 3 revolutionary songs. Wolves of the Revolution by the Arcadian Wild. Starlight Brigade by Twerp, TWRP. The Killers band, and then All These Things That I've Done, song title. Got that one reverse. Oops. Going into the romance, we have a very short one by Bill Wirtz titled Song, Feel Okay. Then I have a cover of Waving Through a Window by Twisted Translations. That's the lady who does, or like did a lot of the Google Docs translations. Or not Google Docs, Google Translate. Taking existing songs through the translation ringer several times. Then we have Genghis Khan by Mike Snow. And we have Dave Matthews Band, Where Are You Going? Then we have What Is My Life? Jacksepticeye. I think that was Shmoyoho that put that song together. And Thumbnail.
Nice.
Hey! Thumbnail by
Hello.
Louis Zong and Brian David Gilbert. I'm talking about the playlist.
Yes. I still need to make one for Celix.
You have banger taste, though. So. And then Autoclave, Mountain Goats, for that last chapter. So.
I love the Mountain Goats.
They're rad. I love almost every song I hear by them, which is very fun.
My favorite is, God damn it, I know words. Heretic Pride.
Oh, I've heard that one. I have it squirreled away on a playlist somewhere, but I have a lot of playlists.
Especially since, like, jasmine used to be my favorite kind of tea. Can't taste it now. Thank you, COVID.
Yep.
But the whole line, I taste jasmine on my tongue. I go fucking bonkers for that song.
Valid.
It's a good song, gang.
Good song, gang. Good song alert. Do you see the doc with the 2.5?
Yeah, I'm here.
You're magical. Alrighty. In that case, I think we shall read on the screen. Yes, here we are. Excellent. So, I'll keep doing narrator for this until I mess up or you ask for it.
Aye, Captain.
Oh, yeah, Captain.
Wait, are we going back, I'm assuming, before I just start reading?
You're good. Yes, we are starting here where the words are in this doc.
Oh, word?
Oh, word?
I've been thinking about it.
Solix announces as he walks into your room. You can't do anything to stop him, not in this state. You grab a cushion off the lounge plank that you're on and just press it into your face. Maybe it'll smother you to death, or perhaps you can just scream yourself hoarse into it. Well, it turns out you can do neither, because Solix takes it and throws it away.
You're acting like you used to about your blood color. Before we all knew about it, I mean. I've seen same on your face often enough to recognize it.
Solix says as he looks down at you. Fuck him for knowing you so well.
But I can't work it out. If I pitied you and you pitied me, why would you change your mind like that? And what reason for doing it would make you ashamed? Or if you lied about it, why would you do that and then feel ashamed? Or so ashamed that you'd rather take a shitload of actual pain than tell me?
He asks. This won't help. I'm not answering, you say, and look away.
Yeah, okay. Definitely same. If you just wanted a fuck with no strings attached, you could have found basically anyone in the rebellion or pretty much any pirate who wasn't inclined to thank you. I've seen people hit on you plenty. And if it had to be me, then it's not like you didn't know I was theoretically cool with the friends with benefits thing. You could have asked.
Solix goes on. You grimace and try not to wonder about him and Equius again.
That's not your thing, though. So I can rule that out.
Solix concludes. You're giving too much away. You try to put your book over your face, but Solix takes it again. Maybe you can talk him out of this. Can't you just keep hating me for what I did? This won't help, you say.
Karkat, you used to be my best friend. I've pitied you almost my whole life. I left the planet with you. I became a pirate. I joined a revolution for you. Why can't you just tell me? I mean, look at you. This is clearly hurting you too, which doesn't make sense. Just tell me.
Solix says. There's a form of execution that the Empress has used before. She used it maybe 50 sweeps ago on some advisor of hers who stole her things and tried to make a run for it. She caught him and tied him to the ground, placed a metal plate on him, and then loaded up everything that he stole or its value in gold onto the plate until it crushed him to death. Solix layering on every way you screwed this up, feels like that. Eventually, given enough pain, everyone breaks. I'd rather you hated me for what I did and not... You choke out. Solix is hanging on your every word, but you don't know what you can say.
Not what?
He prompts. Not what I am, you snap at him.
What? A mutant? KK, it's not like I didn't know about that.
Solix says in bewilderment. It's not just my blood color that's mutated. Every part of me is a filthy, awful mutant the whole way through. Every part of me is broken, okay? I tried to stay away from you like that and not do that because of it, but I fucked up and you should hate me. I didn't want you to know and I didn't want to hurt you, but I'm useless as always, you shout.
What?
Solix says, but you squirm away from him and face towards the back of the lounge plank. If he wants to move you, he can, but you can't stand to see him looking at you.
You're ashamed of yourself? But I've never had a problem with you being a mutant. I've never cared. What do you mean it's more than your blood? You being a mutant was one of the things that I pitied you for.
Solix insists, and you whine. He doesn't get it.
What would any part of your mutation have to do with pity? And why would you be ashamed of it with me, of all people? Didn't you I can speak today, I fucking promise. I'm gonna just start that over.
Sure.
Sorry about that.
You're good.
I'm doing my best, Your Honor. I am just a little guy.
Verdict stands.
What?
Little guy.
What would any part of your mutation have to do with pity? And why would you be ashamed of it with me, of all people? Didn't you trust me then?
Solix asks, and you cringe in on yourself, but stay silent.
Is it really worse than this?
Solix asks, I forgot to grab a cushion during the break.
Oh no!
I don't know, Solix. Would you rather the person whose opinion of you matters the most hate you for something awful that you did, or the abhorrent thing that you are and that you have no control over? You're gonna hate me either way, so I'd rather this way if it's all the same to you. You say, your voice slightly muffled by cushions. Solix makes an aggravated noise, and suddenly you're floating, picked up and sat upright, facing him. He seems pissed.
So glad to know that you apparently never trusted me either.
Solix snaps. I'm disappointing all around. You agree?
You know I'm not going to let this go, and you can't leave. I can't hate you more than I do, so just tell me, and I'll go away and stop bothering you about it.
Solix insists. You just want him to leave you to hate yourself in the shambles of your former life in peace, damn it. But how do you even explain this to him? You shuffle through your Siladex as if something will help when you land on your battered origami paper from before. It's too crumpled up to be of use, but it gives you an idea. Pass me that paper, you ask him quietly, holding out your hand for the pad of paper you'd abandoned near the armchair. Solix gives you an odd look, but does as you ask. You tear a sheet out and carefully tear it into an exact square, then fold it into 4, then unfold it. You still have your pencil in your Siladex, so you start sketching out quadrant signs.
Carquette, if you're making a sipping diagram, I am going to lose my shit.
Solix warns you. I'm way happier not explaining anything. If you're willing to go away and stop asking about this now, then I won't stop you, you say, your hand stopping.
Like hell,
Solix says immediately. You continue drawing in the silence. You feel numb at the idea that you're going to have to speak the things that are wrong with you for the first time. The point of terror and of self-loathing passed way back, and now you're just tired, exhausted with hating yourself. The conclusion is foregone here. Solix will be disgusted with you, hate you. These are the things you know are true, so in a way there's no suspense. You take the paper and fold it strangely for a while, so the parts inside all overlap weirdly. Normal trolls have 4 quadrants, and they feel the things they're supposed to within them. Sometimes people switch, but that's going from one to another, you say, as you change the folding paper into a small flush quadrant symbol. You pitied me, you say, and hold the slightly ugly-looking heart sign up for him.
I did.
He agrees. You wanted to know if I lied about how I felt when I said that I pitied you too, and I did, but it's not that simple, you mumble.
If you lied about pitying me, that sounds pretty simple to me.
Solix hisses. Well, how about every time you also felt the thing I say, I put my pencil through the paper, huh? You ask, holding the heart and the pencil up. Solix looks at you suspiciously, but nods. You were the most important person in my life, you tell him, and for a moment, Solix seems taken aback until he remembers that he's meant to be confirming if he feels the same. He nods, and you perforate the heart with your pencil. I trusted you, you say, and he nods and glares at you. I wanted to protect you from things. It hurt to think of you in pain, you go on. He nods a little more somber this time. Obviously, I had physical wants to do with you. You don't need to agree to that one. We paled, it's pretty clear, you say, and don't look up. I wanted to be able to be yours. I saw other people together. I wanted the same thing, but for us, you whisper. You don't wait for Solix to confirm it this time. You just punch a hole through the paper. I wanted what was best for you. I wanted you to be happy. I respected you. I valued your opinion. I wanted you to think I was someone worthwhile, you list off, stabbing holes and holes and holes in the paper.
Carcat, that's pity. You pitied me. Why did...
Solix starts. No, shut up. That's what I'm saying. For you, it was pity, and I felt those things too. I wasn't just making shit up about things I didn't feel so you'd put your bulge in me. I wouldn't do that. You snap at him. You glare at your knees and start unfurling the paper, trying not to rip it. But I'm messed up, mutated, and my feelings are wrong. Because yeah, I felt all of that for you, but my feelings don't confine themselves to quadrants like they're supposed to. I feel everything. I'm not talking about flipping from one thing to another. I'm saying I feel everything for you. You say, present tense slipping past your lips without you meaning to. You toss the unfurled paper at Solix. There are plenty of holes in the flush quadrants, but just as many in every other. I felt as much pale shit for you as I did red. Ash in the right situations and pitch just as much. I don't have quadrants, I just have that. You confess. It feels like throwing up. Solix stares at the paper for a moment and then at you.
What?
He says, sounding so plainly confused. You heard me, you say under your breath and avoid looking at him.
That's not how quadrants work. That's not how people work. You said you pitied me.
Solix starts, and you actually kick the paper out of his hand with your good leg. I said I pitied you because I already made the drunk mistake of kissing you. I'd had feelings for you for forever, and now that I knew, I thought maybe I could just... You close your eyes and press your hands to your face. I thought, fuck, if there's anyone who I could force myself to be normal for, it's Solix. I care about him more than anyone else. I've got enough red feelings here. I just have to ignore everything else forever and it'll go away. And because I'm a moron, I finally gave in and tried it. I was so red for you, and it was great. But then I woke up afterwards, and the lump in your throat grows so big that you can't talk.
And
Solix says. Shame and disgust well up inside you. You look aside to the doors to the tiny little balcony that Equius has attached to this room. It's so small you did not bother going out there before. It's far preferable to look at than Solix right now. I woke up, and I still felt red, but I felt so pale for you. I couldn't be normal for even one whole day. How the fuck could I do it forever? I couldn't lie to you like that, and you'd know something was wrong, that I was wrong. So, you trail off. Solix knows what you did all too well. Solix is silent. You figure he doesn't know what to say. So there, I told you. You said you'd stop bothering me if I did, so why don't you leave and hate me somewhere else and let me go back to being miserable on my own? Thanks, you say. Solix doesn't get up and go. He just stares at you. You're not into being stared at like some lab animal. You know you're a freak, but this isn't a freak show, thanks. If you won't go, then you will. You grab the cane that Equius left you and make a hobbling break for the balcony, wrenching the door open and shutting it behind you. You hear him knock on the glass behind you as you lean against it, but you're not turning around, and you're not opening it, not until he's gone.
Want me to swap in as narrator?
Yeah.
You can't stay out there forever, Solix points out. Solix has a point. It's about minus 1,000 out here. You shove your coat on and ignore the cold, occasionally glancing back to see Solix pacing the room, deep in thought. Eventually, he does leave. Perhaps he thinks you'll come inside and stop freezing yourself if he does. Or maybe he's come to the conclusion that he's disgusted by every part of you and can't stand to be near you. Either way, he's not watching you now. You don't want to stay around Solix anymore. You told him everything about how awful and broken you are, and you just can't stay around to hear every thought he has on you. He didn't get it. People aren't like that. No shit, and yet here you are. But he's right. You can't stay on this balcony forever, but if you go back inside, he'll no doubt have more to say. Carcat Vantis is trapped on a balcony. Except you're not just Carcat Vantis, are you? You are Carcat Vantis, famous pirate and rebel. What kind of pirate and rebel would you be if you didn't have a grappling hook in your Silodex at all times? You hook it on the edge of the balcony, hold your cane between your teeth, then grab the rope and jump. You descend to the ground with practice ease, retrieve your hook, and go on your way. You flick the collar of your coat up against the cold and try to walk as normally as you can, but from the searing pain in your leg, you're pretty sure you've ripped something. You walk on anyway. Your goal is to get to the spaceport and commandeer or sneak aboard a ship that's leaving and then find your way to safety. If not that, then hands up, rebel scum, an angry voice says. You turn to see 3 Imperial agents with their guns trained on you. One of them might be on your side, but you don't know. You could probably take them. Instead, you raise the hand that's not supporting you on the cane and try not to wince too much as they arrest you and take you into custody. Oh, and stop doing that. Sorry.
You're good.
Oh, thank you.
I highlighted.
They try to interrogate you, but they're not as good at it as Selix. They tell you that you'll be brought to the Empress and killed. Okay, sure. The sheer amount that you don't care seems to unsettle them, and they don't know what to do with you. So in the end, they just throw you in a cell on their ship and start flying. And just, oh, you're gonna kill me? Cool, I kind of want to die right now anyway.
Yep. Bet.
It's like with the day I've had. Don't threaten me with a good time.
Right?
You're not surprised when the ship is attacked, when the lights are cut and you're plunged into darkness. You're not alarmed when the door is thrown open and several of your crew are there with Nepeta at the front. She pulls you to your feet, your hands are still cuffed behind your back, and she starts to talk.
Carcat, we were so worried.
Nepeta says. That's as far as she gets before you headbutt her in the face and break her nose. She stumbles back, her hand over her face, and your crew stare at the pair of you in shock. You've never had a real fight on anything as long as they've been with you.
You fucking deserved that.
You hiss at her.
I just wanted to help.
She says thickly.
Shut up. I don't care. We're leaving.
You snap and hobble past her. You don't shake her off when she grabs your arm to help you walk by bearing your weight. You say nothing when you get back on your ship. You just limp to your room using the wall for support now instead of her and lock yourself in your block. The next day, Equius shows up. He berates you for opening your wound, patches you up, and says nothing about you breaking Nepeta's nose. You can only assume that means he doesn't think you were entirely wrong to do so. He leaves you medication to take for the infection you've no doubt picked up in your escape and leaves. You have no contact with Nepeta or the rest of your crew beyond telling them to move the ship to an isolated moon that's hard to find and staying there. Even that you only do through your tablet. The ship is turned in such a way that when you're curled up miserably on your lounge plank, you could see the silvery moon below you. You think you might just lay here forever. Having Selix walk out on you hurts so much, and you hated yourself for it. But telling him what you really are and having him shut you down like that is so much worse. A few of your friends troll you over the next few days, but you ignore them in favor of the hollow pit of misery you've carved out for yourself in the dim light of the moon. When the moon moves, you notice. Of course, it's not the moon, it's the ship. Your ship is moving. You know the soft sound of its engines like the beat of your own blood pusher. You jerk yourself upright and fumble for the cane Equius gave you. After a brief struggle to your feet, you're angrily marching as best as you can to the bridge of your ship, intent on beating the person who moved it against your orders.
Who the fuck moved my ship?
You bellow as you burst into the room. Nepeta holds up her hands and shakes her head. The rest of your crew in the room look terrified, but not guilty. Your chair turns around, the one you sit in when you're up on the bridge, only
Solix.
you whisper. Captain, Sulik says with something a little too mean-looking to be a smile playing at the edge of his mouth. Since you seemed intent on doing fuck all and were incapacitated, I decided to move the ship. Since I outrank everyone else here, I can do that, he says. Why is he here? What's he talking about?
You don't outrank.
You never fired me for deserting. I checked several times. I'm still second in command here. You kept paying me too. Zelix interrupts you. Damn it.
What do you want?
You ask wearily, leaning heavily on your cane with one hand and rubbing your face with the other. Zelix stands up, unfolding himself all long-limbed and gorgeous in a way that you hate him for being, and you hate yourself for still adoring it. He nods towards the door you came in through and walks through it. You're not staying here with almost your entire crew watching you, so you follow Sullix. He's waiting in the hallway, and when the door behind you shuts, he speaks again. Equius told me I had to remind you to look after your leg, Sullix tells you.
Was that all you came out here for?
You ask flatly. I would say he could have just trolled you, but everyone insists on telling me that you're not answering them, Sullix says sharply and looks down at you.
Well, great, you told me. Message received. I don't know how you got on my ship, but you can leave now.
You grumble and push past him. I work here, actually, Sullix says to you, making you stop in the hallway.
Why? Why do you want to? You hate me!
You shout, turning around to glare at him. I don't, actually, Sullix says, like it's that easy.
What?
You say dumbly. I don't hate you. I'm really pissed at you still, but I don't hate you, he says with a frown on his face. He doesn't hate you, but you told him about you. You broke his heart. You drove him away. You fucked up everything. What does he mean that he doesn't hate you? Also, I'm sorry, he adds, just to further confuse you.
What?
You ask again in a small voice. I didn't understand what you said to me. I still don't think I do entirely, but I don't think you're lying. It pretty obviously hurt to say everything you did to explain yourself. You didn't fake that. I wanted some answer that made sense, and yours didn't, so I don't know. But it was a pretty shit thing to do. Making you tell me something painful that you didn't want to, only to say the shit I did. So for that, I'm sorry, Sullix says. It sounds like he practiced it.
I'd say much worse to myself.
You shrug half-heartedly. That doesn't make it better, Carcat, he argues. I'm mad that you never told me that you felt like that forever and you never said anything. We were best friends and you didn't trust me with that, Sullix says. He sounds hurt, but too bad for him because you're burnt out on feeling bad.
Well, I'm not sorry. I'd rather pretend that I'm normal for forever than let everyone know I'm not. So if you came here for an apology on that specifically, you're not getting it. Sorry to waste your time. I'm gonna go back to my block now.
You mutter and walk off again. I'll just keep running the ship then, he calls after you.
You don't work here.
You shout back. Unless you fire me, I do. Sulk shouts at your back. The most petty argument.
You're so petty. If I did fire you, would you even leave?
You ask, glancing over your shoulder at him. This is a pirate ship. I am a pirate. I'm not big on doing what people tell me. So, nah. Sullick says, and that is a grin on his face. Actual amusement. It's too weird. You're leaving. You shamble back to your block and lock the doors. You're not sure if Sullick still has automatic access to your block as the first mate, or as he... Whoa, stop jumping. Or as he puts it, second in command. But there's also nothing you could do to your door that would stop him getting in if he was determined to do so. You decide not to fuck with the doors and instead go back to moping. Goddamn Sullix, how dare he show back up here? How dare he take over your ship? Does he just want answers on why you're like this, or what you meant with your explanation? Did someone else make him come back? He did mention your friends, but oh my god.
It's really skipping
I am
around.
going to eat Google Docs. Sorry, I'm on mobile and every once in a while it's like, oh, did you touch here? Jumps down paragraph and a half.
Yep.
I fucking Did someone else make him come back? He did mention your friends, but you're pretty loath to go ask them if they did anything. With no other option, you just lay there, confused and angry for a while. You eventually remember to take the medication Equius gave you, but you're not happy about it. The problem with your ship is that your block is right next to Cellix's, and you kept it empty the whole time he was gone. You got used to it being silent, and now you can hear him living in there. The sound of him moving things about or him opening and shutting doors. When you stand there brushing your teeth, you can faintly hear the shower going on the other side of the wall. It makes it very hard to focus on a concentrated misery, so you're forced to eventually brave the rest of your ship again. Your crew is watching you, and Cellix... Wow. Do you mind swapping it?
Yeah, for sure. Your crew
Thank you.
Yeah. Your crew is watching you and Solix warily, and you note that Tavros is back. He does spy-type work for the rebellion, not the cool infiltration style, but the careful sorting of stolen intel to work out the flow of things. He has stunning intuition, really. Sometimes he works from your ship, and sometimes he'll station himself somewhere else for a while. Like the rest of your old friends, he has a permanent block on your ship that you don't let anyone else have. Tavros? You say slowly, walking over to him with a wince. You're determined to not keep using that cane thing, but you're keeping it in your Synodex just in case.
Hi, Carcat. That looks painful. I can relate.
Tavros nods sympathetically. I'm sure. Did you have anything to do with trapping me on that planet with Solix? You ask him suspiciously.
I'd heard people were thinking of doing it, but ever since you and Celix fell out, people have always talked about wild ways to fix things. I didn't think it was going to happen.
Tavros admits. Well, good. That's one less person to punch in the face. Being around Solix is weird. You keep expecting something to happen, for him to turn around and shout, "Surprise!" and then melt you with his eye lasers or something. You fucked him over so badly, he can't just suddenly be okay with that. It makes you jumpy and on edge. Meanwhile, Solix is aggressively pretending like you're not being twitchy and weird, and is making perfectly sensible first mate decisions about running the ship while your think sponge is effectively soup. Every so often you ask him if he's satisfied with what you've told him, and that you're not sorry for keeping it from him, and you're not telling him more. Then, based on that information, is he going now? He doesn't seem satisfied, but he's also not prying more. He looks annoyed when you say you're not sorry for keeping everything secret, and then tells you he's not going. It's infuriating. He seems to even begin to warm up to you again, smiling more around you and losing the tension you'd not noticed that he had in the first place. Your poor crew seem utterly thrown by the entire situation, but you can't bring yourself to actually force Solix off of the ship, though you probably couldn't do that anyway. So you're stuck in this stalemate hostage situation where you don't understand the stakes or what he wants. You know that you clearly have some kind of cabin fever and paranoia-induced psychosis when you're desperately glad to see Vriska at your next port. She's not so enthusiastic to see you. Vriska, thank God, someone sane to talk to, you say in relief, and wrap your arms around her shoulders before sitting down next to her in the shady, out-of-the-way coffee place she'd picked to meet you at. Hanging out with Solix again is working that well, huh? Vriska snorts. You know about that? You ask her suspiciously. Everyone knows about that, Carcat. Besides, the whole thing was Terezi's idea. I take it that it's going predictably terribly, Vriska asks with a grin. Were you involved in that? You ask, your fist clenching without your conscious command. Ugh, as if. Just locking you two up was never going to help. Besides, you and him are like... Vriska trails off, waving her hands around for a moment like she's trying to work out how to articulate her thoughts. At least she didn't help, so you don't want to punch her, because Vriska would definitely punch you back, and her fist is metal. You know those infomercials where one person just fucks up to catastrophic proportions? Vriska asks. Yeah, you say. Like, oh no, I was trying to carry too many things, and now I've tripped and thrown cereal into the fireplace and fallen. Now I've landed on my bark beast and I killed it, and my hive is on fire. That kind of thing, Vriska goes on. Yeah, you repeat. Watching you and Solix trying to interact with each other, watching either of you pretend that you don't have feelings for each other, is like watching that, but for sweeps and sweeps. It's fucking stupid, and sometimes it's embarrassing to know you, Vriska sneers, as she stirs her coffee with her spoon. Ah, there goes the feeling of being glad to see her. Why do I see you again? You ask flatly. Because I have intel, Vriska says, and hands you a file. You sigh and flick through it. It's useful shit, an update on the ever-shifting politics of who's who in the Empire, so you know who you should avoid and what areas you should stay clear of, but also who might be worth reaching out to. You look like you need a vacation from everything, Vriska says thoughtfully. You consider the prospect of going back to your ship with Solix there and grimace. A chance to not be in the confusing and stressful situation I'm in now would be great. I don't understand why Solix is talking to me, and he's just acting like he works on the ship. I know I never fired him, but he did leave, and now he's just back, and I don't know, you say in exasperation. Definitely need a vacation. Vriska nods and drinks her coffee. I've never really had a vacation, you tell her. Sure, you've had days off here and there in places you happened to be safe, but not an actual thing where you go somewhere just to relax. Delphi Prime is supposed to be gorgeous. It's this tropical little planet, all beaches and ocean, lush forests and that. But get this, the water's so deoxygenated that nothing lives in it because it can't breathe. So no sea dwellers want to go there, really. It's really off the beaten path, and there are these tropical forests that I'd love to explore. I've been trying to get Rezi to take some time and go there with me for ages, but it's never lined up right. Oh, and the whole planet is owned, and there's staff everywhere for everything you could ever want. Spa shit, the drinks with the little umbrellas in, the works. Vriska sighs wistfully. Shit, that sounds awesome, you agree. You know, actually, you've never had a vacation. You have a bunch of treasure saved up and apparently a first mate willing to run your ship without you despite what you want, so why not? You could use a chance to recharge and get your head on right. Actually, maybe I will go, you declare, banging on the table. That's the spirit. Now just let me know if it's as good as people say so I can drag Terezi there. Vriska grins. Ha, she was just using you as her test, but that's fine. You're sure it'll be wonderful. You book your trip to Delphi Prime and send your ship that way. Nepeta and Solix seemingly can think of things to do relatively nearby, so you're still able to communicate with them in case the place sucks and you need to leave, or in case they need you. You tell them to drop that fucking idea and go even further away. You don't want to be disturbed.
Want me to swap in?
Yes, perfect.
I was waiting for the chance to ask if you wanted me to swap in, but you just kept going. I'm like, please, you seem like you need a break.
Carcat need vacation, Jay need vacation, everybody. Get your little umbrellas.
Everybody need vacation. and drinks with the little umbrellas. You get to your tropical cabana, find a shitload of fancy snacks waiting for you. You take pictures on the beach, wander to the forests, and smell the lush flowers there. It's nice. It's really nice. Every so often, there are deck chairs scattered about on the beach, so you pick one at random and just take in the gorgeous scenery and feel a moment of peace descend on you. Maybe with a little time, you can salvage something from this Sullick's mess. Maybe you can invite him down here early on your last day, and the two of you can have a quiet talk and come to some kind of agreement about what to do. Maybe things can get better. Out of nowhere, a little alien pops up in a little suit and tie and asks if you want anything.
Ah! Oh, fuck, sorry. I didn't see you there.
You yelp, flailing upright.
Oh, no, I'm terribly sorry, sir. I didn't mean to alarm you. We're here should you need anything at all. I apologize deeply for disturbing you.
The little alien apologizes and starts to back off.
No, I'm sorry. It's not your fault at all.
You say gently, and the alien pauses. You've never seen anyone like him.
Hey, forgive me if I'm being rude, but I've never seen your species before, and I don't even know your name. I'm Carcat.
You say, offering your hand.
Oh, I am. My name is Nyx.
Nyx says.
What's your species called?
You ask curiously.
I don't know. Before trolls arrived here, we didn't know there were other people. We don't have any of the technology you do, so we didn't have a name for ourselves. The trolls who own this planet just call us them, but I don't think that's the same. You can call me or us whatever you want. You're our guest.
Nyx says, bowing their head. A terrible feeling fills your insides.
This is your home planet?
You ask, and Nyx nods.
And some trolls just came here and took it?
You ask. Nyx nods again.
Are you at least in some
You ask in desperate hope.
in some kind of business agreement with them? Like you're leasing the place out to them in exchange for money or technology, access to the intergalactic market?
We all work for them. We have to. This is their planet now, and we're theirs.
Nyx answers and taps on the rusty-looking metal collar around their neck that you hadn't seen because of how meekly ducked Nyx was keeping their head. You rest your head in your hands and despair for a moment. You just wanted a vacation.
I think I want you to take me to your community. I have some questions I want to ask because this isn't okay.
You tell Nyx.
And that's the end of part 2.
I love how Carcat can't just take a vacation. He's like, well, I guess I'm starting another rebellion.
Yep. It's fine. I cleared my plate for this anyways, so it's fine.
Oh my god. Carcat just like, what do you mean I'm the leader of the rebellion? Proceeds to start another rebellion.
Yep. What do you mean I'm the leader? And then also, that can't be right. I can't be leader. I would have noticed a leader because I talk to everyone.
Maybe because you're the leader, sweet baby boy.
The babyest grown pirate. grappling down from a from a balcony to run away from feelings.
He really did say adios to his feelings. And we love that for him.
We shall pick up next time. You guys can place internal bets with yourself on how well you think the rest of Carcat's vacation is about to go.
Place bets. Break out a bingo card.
Yep. And we'll announce which day next week we'll do in the promo server, and we'll do the link an hour early in the promo server on whatever day it is we can do next week. Everybody take care.
Of course.